Alright, it's time to wrap this up. 30 days of S110V experiment. It wasn't the truest form of an experiment because I used S110V pretty extensively in the past. It's a steel I've had for over 2 years that I've used. I did this past 30 days for a lot of reasons. Part of it was to inform people so they could see it's not as bad as a lot of what you'll see posted about it. And look, we have a little bug walking on the blade there. It's not as bad as what you see posted about it. It was also to demonstrate some of the things that S110V is capable of doing. And as well as to put it up against whatever happened to come my way for 30 days. This is outside of cutting with knives to prep them for edge retention testing, which all the cutting that I do to prep those knives is artificial. It's stuff that I purposely get to cut, to get a sense of how a knife cuts, to dull the edge, to sharpen it the next time. This did everything. And in a minute I'm gonna roll in some clips, just like I told everyone, of me chopping on some oak and then pushing it into pine and twisting it out with the apex. Seen lots of different posts on this in the past couple years, lots of different videos. Post that stands out to me was on the Spyderco group on Facebook, where allegedly, because the guy never answered back in the post that I'm aware of, he stabbed a Mannix 2 S110V into drywall and the blade broke in 2 places. It was just a picture with a little really short write-up and no other response that I'm aware of. I followed it for quite a while, hoping to find out exactly what did happen. But I never did. I will have to go and try and search it again and see if I can find it. But then Triple B did a video with an S110V PM2. He repeatedly stabbed it into drywall over and over and nothing happened. I know a lot of people say that S110V is hard to sharpen. I mean, I suppose if you don't know how to sharpen anything, that could be the case, but I don't find it to be any harder than any other steel. You just have to be a little more careful to get a nice crisp apex on it when you do sharpen it. S90V, for example, is every bit as good as S110V or better, and it is much easier to sharpen. So I'm going to go ahead and cover everything. Well, you know what? First we're going to go ahead and roll the clip of chopping oak and side loading the apex in some pine. And what I don't have video of is one of my friends was down this past weekend and I pushed this into pressure treated 4x4 and twisted it out. And the edge did take a little damage doing that. It's much harder than the pine on the video you're going to see, but it took it in stride. As you can see, I'm not missing any big chunks of the blade or anything like that. So let's go ahead and watch that chopping and apex loading footage, and then we'll come back and talk some more about this. Okay, now that we saw that footage, you can see not only is S110V, while it's not optimal for what I just did with it, it's not going to leave you stranded. This is the only knife you have on you, and you need to get something done. It might be a little bit of a pain to sharpen in the field, but you can definitely get some stuff done with it. What I do need to do, though, is pause you guys real quick, because I need to show you the state of the apex now and how it still actually cuts, even though it appears the way it does. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I'm back, grab the same cardboard I used to edge retention test knives. But before I do that demonstration, let's just go ahead and cover the use for the month real quick and get that out of the way. With this, I did sharpen it twice. I sharpened it at the beginning, and I sharpened it once on video. I don't recall offhand exactly what day that was. It is posted for everyone to watch. I'm not going to wrap days 25 through 30. I'm just going to wrap it all in with the total monthly cutting that I did with this. So I did cut my pinky once, and there's a geas. It seems like he has to make an appearance in every single video. I did cut my pinky once with this. Totally on accident. Don't even know how it happened. I did cut 43 plastic pallet straps. I broke down 11 small boxes. Keep in mind, that's on 2 separate apexes, 15 degrees per side the whole time. It's the way I got the knife in trade. I just went ahead and kept it that way. So 43 plastic straps, 11 small boxes, 7 hoagie rolls. That was the first thing I cut with this after I sharpened it on it was actually the night before 30 days. 8 medium boxes, broke down 11 large boxes. Cut apart to wrap knives in to mail to Kurt, and trades I did with other people and to return loaners. I cut 10 bubble packs down into knife width strips. I opened 6 blister packs, 12 plastic food packages, 33 of the foily plastic coffee packs for work, for coffee in the morning. I did 34 total cuts to check the edge. That includes some I did during videos. Opened 6 bubble packs that I got in the mail with things in them. As far as cardboard cut, the very first apex, I cut a total of, let's see, 360 feet of cardboard on top of the other use I did. I cut 1 plastic water bottle wrapper off the case. I shaved pine, pushed the apex down into pine and twisted it out. I didn't count how many times. It was well over a dozen. I chopped pine and oak with it. I shaved pine just to check the state of the apex a couple times during the month. I broke down 5 12-liter 12-ounce can boxes. Cut 1 plastic bottle, water bottle in half. cut 43 zip ties, and on the second apex I cut 398 feet of cardboard. Now the last thing I did was the chopping on the oak and the pushing it into a pine 2x4 and twisting the apex out. That was the end of day 30 yesterday when I did that. Today was an off day. There's 31 days in this month, so I took today as an off day to carry the M4 DLC Mannix and the 4V St. Nick's Para 3. So here's a piece of paper just to show you. The back half of the apex is not in good shape at all. One thing I did learn is I used this portion of the knife the most, it seems. The front portion stayed really sharp on the first and the second apex for this particular experiment. Now, this is what chopping on oak and side loading and pressure treated 4x4 and twisting the apex out of a pine 2x4 will do to S110V. However, believe it or not, that's why I had to go get the cardboard that I use for all my edge retention testing. Even with that damage, come on, buddy. Come on. You gotta get out of the way. While it's not optimal, and just to show how sharp the front portion I hardly use is. Oh, let me grab that before he does, or he'll eat it. Okay, so now we saw, yes, S110V will take some damage if you do what I did with it this past 30 days. It's not meant for chopping oak or side loading the apex like that. But I wanted to do that so everyone got an idea that this is not some weak steel like you'll see posted all over the place. It's not as hard to maintain as everyone says it is. It's not as hard to sharpen, and it's definitely stronger than people make it out to be. It was a good 30 days. I enjoyed it. I did really like the PM2 before I used it as my only knife for 30 days, and I do like it a fair bit less now. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I don't dislike it, but it's definitely fallen down some places in knives I like after 30 days of using it. Unlike a Mannix 2, which last year I carried on Mannix 2 for a year. I have quite a few of these. I carried, I changed it up. I carried different ones, different steels, lightweights, G10s. I'm still not tired of this. I have no problem carrying a Mannix. It's what I picked to carry today, even after all that time last year carrying one. Some knives are like that. You really like them. Other ones, you come to find out, not so much. In the case of this, even after chopping, it's solid. Believe it or not, no blade play, no lock play. It wasn't ever centered to begin with. When I got it, it was off a little bit to the show side. The action did suffer. It goes that far and sticks. That happened after the first time I chopped on some pine. I'm not sure what it's binding on. I'm gonna have to take it apart. I don't know if it got dirty. It doesn't feel like it's catching anything at that point. But what's next month gonna be? Next month is going to be a true experiment. If I can find it. It's going to be a true experiment because I have never carried a Delica for anything more than a backup knife, or part of a day here, part of a day there. ZDP 189. I definitely need some more use time on this steel. Don't have a ton of experience with it. This is brand new. I saved it specifically for this. Once I thought of doing the S110V a couple months ago, I went ahead and put this in my case and left it alone. It is on the factory edge. I really haven't cut anything with it prior to now. Like I said, it was only carried a few times as a backup knife. The factory edge is beyond sharp. Not only is it sharp, has no problem shaving hair. I did strop it, to be fair, but that's how it came. I'm probably going to sharpen it. Today is Wednesday. In 2 days, on Friday morning, I am going to go ahead and sharpen it anyway. Come on, buddy. That way I get a real feel for it, and the factory edge doesn't leave me stuck in the middle of the day somewhere. Not that I think it will, but I just want to make sure that that's not going to be an issue. Unless you guys overwhelmingly want to see how long the factory edge goes, then I have no problem keeping the factory edge as long as possible. So, this is next month, 30 days of a Delica, which I've never done, and 30 days of ZDP, which I have some fairly limited experience with ZDP. There's only one readily available production steel that's in wide production that I probably haven't used more than this, and that's LMAX, and I may go ahead and do that next month since I did get a knife in LMAX. So, ZDP 189, the next 30 days. That's all I have for this. Let me know what you think of the 30 days of S110V. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.